Hi everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Tammy Ben-David, and I'm your host for today. The topic that we're going to be discussing today is smart tracking of your APIs, increasing supply chain visibility. In a post-COVID world, supply chain has never been more important. Supplying an API from a manufacturing site all the way to a customer's warehouse on time and in the right condition is crucial and involves many complex steps and stakeholders. Teva API is the first in the industry to be using a new GPS data logger device that allows us to have full transparency over your shipments. So today, the webinar is going to be 30 minutes long. And in the first half, you'll learn what the challenges are with conventional data loggers. We'll then talk about what real-time tracking can do for you, how it helps us monitor the performance of our logistics service providers and other benefits. We'll then identify weak points in the chain and how we monitor that no deviation can happen from this shipment lane. And lastly, we'll talk about geofencing and how this new GPS device gives full transport visibility and strengthens your shipment security. And after this, we're going to open up the floor for questions. So please, any question you have, just pop it into the box, the chat box on the side of your screen. You'll see two little speech bubbles. Just put in your question there, and at the end, we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. So to introduce our speaker. Today's speaker is our top supply chain expert from Teva API, Bertel Wagensveld. Bertel is head of global logistics and commercial supply chain at Teva API. He has been with Teva since 2003 and holds various positions in commercial supply chain and global logistics. Bertel holds a degree in international trade and wholesalers and a BSc in business management. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Bertel. Over to you.
Thank you, Tammy, for the introduction, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, depending from which part of the world you are joining us. Thank you also for joining this webinar about smart tracking of our APIs, and throughout this presentation, I hope you'll be as excited as we are in how we maintain the quality of our product till delivery to our customer's warehouse. So let me first emphasize a bit of the challenges that we encountered. First of all, we saw an increase of temperature deviations worldwide due to global weather changes, as you might also experience in your personal life. The weather is not as predicted anymore as a few years ago. And also, we saw an increase of temperature deviations throughout different global events, unfortunately. We also encountered limited amount of data that we got returned from our customers on our old conventional data loggers, which didn't help us to do continuous lane risk assessments and also monitor our logistics service providers' performance. Last but not least, we see an overall increase of cold chain volumes and shipments globally, but also within Teva API, and where significant temperature deviations could potentially increase our direct cost and cost associated with replacing it. The solution we were looking for. So the best way to solve many challenges associated with shipping pharmaceutical products globally and ensure compliance at the same time is to find a solution that offers better visibility throughout the real-time tracking, whether by land, sea or air. While temperature monitoring devices has been widely used throughout the years in the industry, often these devices were depending on gateways or hubs, and data was only available at the end of each shipment and had to be retrieved manually from the devices. Real-time tracking automatically connects to the cloud and can be accessed by quality logistics or any other stakeholders at any moment. Real-time deviations alerts will also enable us to proactively respond to temperature and other environmental issues in the supply chain as they arise to prevent any quality impact on our products. So how did we set up this real-time visibility within our global supply chain? So as you can see on the image now, this is the device that we're using. This device gives us 24/7 visibility. It also shows us at any moment, at any time, where our inventory is located. It gives us real-time access to the data involved. And besides the location, also the temperature conditions. Automatic alerts are being sent to take the necessary actions. The system also provides root cause suggestions, which of course needs to be further investigated by the Teva API team. It also provides us geofencing, on which I will elaborate a bit later in this webinar. And the system also automatically processes the necessary data, which is also a big added value for us. The system also provides us some nice platforms where within one snapshot we can see globally an overview of all our shipments in transit. It will also give us the opportunity to focus more, as you can see on the right side, a dedicated view on shipments in urgent need of or in need of attention, which basically means that we see temperature slowly rising or temperature slowly decreasing, which is not right away an emergency, but it's something that we need to monitor closely before it becomes a real deviation. The system also allows us to identify weak points in the chain. The GPS data, together in connection with our transport management system and the temperature information, allows us to really drill down into each particular shipment where we notice potential weak points in the chain. This can be at the loading area, it can be in transit, or even at the offloading at our customer's warehouse. The system provides us also a nice dashboard with statistics. These statistics helps us to measure the global performance on our temperature excursions, potential shipment rejections, but also on-time delivery at our customers. The statistics also helps us to monitor our service provider performance. Do they really provide us the services for which we have booked? Which is very important in our day-to-day business. It also shows us particular route performance, so we can further analyze how particular temperatures are maintained on a certain route. Besides that, it also gives us an insight on the seasonal performance. Are there any deviations depending on the season for a particular route, and therefore we could take potentially the necessary corrective actions. As I mentioned in the beginning, I would also elaborate a bit more on geofencing. And what is geofencing? So geofencing is a location-based service in which a software uses GPS to trigger pre-programmed actions based on entering or exiting a virtual boundary setup around geographical areas. So how do we set and activate the geofencing? During order receipt, we collect also the necessary information from our customers about the requested delivery address. We will enter that into the system. Once we create a shipment in our transport management system, we also activate the data logger with the necessary geofencing boundaries at origin and at destination. So what does geofencing do for us? In case a shipment leaves origin without activating the start button on the data logger, a notification is sent automatically to us and the data logger will be automatically activated. Also, geofencing is helping us and sending us a notification in case there is any breaking of the geofencing boundaries we set at the beginning of the shipment. In case a destination is not reached or a stop button has been pushed throughout the shipment transit, then the data logger also continues to monitor until the destination has been reached, set according to the geofencing boundaries. Also, the geofencing is helping us when the report of the data needs to be sent to our customers. So upon arrival at the set geographical location, it will automatically send the temperature record to the nominated persons at our customer. So allow me again to summarize a bit the added value for us on using a GPS data logger in all our shipments worldwide. First of all, it gives us an overview in real time, which helps us to identify the location of the goods, but sometimes even the root cause in case of deviations, even before the shipment arrives at our customers. Product release with automatic release of data is always appreciated and available, and we are not depending on emails from customers to return to us with the necessary data. Integration, automatic flow of information and with full connectivity with our TMS gives us significant insights on the performance of our shipments. It also helps us in improving compliance from many angles, including security compliance. Thank you for attending this webinar, and I hope you found it as interesting and excited as we have been also experiencing this. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Bertel, for the presentation. I have to admit that before this webinar, I didn't know too much about the GPS data logger, but it sounds extremely useful for both Teva API and for customers. While you were speaking, we received a whole bunch of questions from people in the audience. So I'm just going to pick a few now for you to answer, if that's okay. So the first one is, what kind of challenges and issues do you encounter with the shipments?
Thank you for that question. So we still experience a lot of challenges at the tarmac time of the different airports, which helps us to better monitor the performance of our temperature control on our shipments. Also, we still encounter that not always direct flights are available to the destination, which increases the challenges with more touch points by different providers within our shipment handling. And therefore, this gives us a lot of insight to do continuous improvements going forward.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you. Next question. How do you determine whether a shipment is stuck or went to a different destination?
Thank you. Hereby also the geofencing is helping us a lot. The geofencing notice when a shipment is not moving forward as expected, or went through a different destination than we initially set in the geofencing boundaries. And it will send us notifications once that happens, which will enable us to get back on control of the shipment and making sure it continues as planned.
Okay, great. I think we have time for one more question. So here it is. Can you please share a memorable success story from one of your customers and their experience with the data logger?
Sure. So we had an incident where one of our customers was urgently waiting for the delivery of their goods. Throughout the transportation, we were noticed by the airline that they could not locate our goods for the last mile delivery. And they were convinced it was located at a certain airport. We had some doubts about this and started to make use of this tool and went into the dashboard to identify based on the GPS where the goods were located. So we were able to trace down where the goods were located. We have informed the airline accordingly, which was on a different location than they suspected. And they were able to collect the goods quickly again to ensure that the last mile delivery still went on time. And at the end, there was no patient impact. So that definitely demonstrated the added value of this GPS data logger.
It saved the day.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Bertel. And that's all we have time for today. If we didn't get to your question, do not worry. Our expert will be answering all of the questions, and you'll be receiving an answer by email in the next few days. And if you'd like more information about any Teva API products or services, please feel free to reach out to us by email. And for more great content like blogs, podcasts, and other previous webinars, please check out the website teva-api.com. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you again soon at the next Teva API webinar. Bye.
Bye-bye.